Hi, and welcome to Elias Shoes. This is Shoe Cabinet TV, and this is episode number 14. So this last week, I did have quite a few people come in, and thank you again. And we'll have a little sheet of paper up there. So any questions that you'd like me to address, please come in or contact me, and I will address those questions. So this is specifically from a guest from our store, and we were having a conversation, and in that conversation she was saying, wow, when she was younger, her foot, she wore something called a quad, which is a very, very narrow shoe. And now she's always had some discomfort in her feet, and she had seen the podiatrist, and her podiatrist referred her over to us, and we then fit her for a better fitting shoe, and her discomfort and her pain has gone away, which is led me to this conversation in how our feet change. So I'm going to do a little discussion on that. So this guest in particular, she always wore, like I said, a very, very narrow shoe. What that caused is her feet to kind of get a little squished like this, and she didn't realize that her feet are not supposed to be like this. Her feet are actually supposed to have movement inside the shoe, which is what we're going to talk about. Getting sized and measured regularly. We go through changes. So when we're younger, our feet may be a little longer, a little thinner, and this applies to both male and female. When we mature, sometimes in our life, we might gain a little weight. When that happens, our feet also tend to gain a little weight, and our foot may go a little wider. Therefore, you may need to purchase a shoe with a little more width to accommodate for some of that excess fluid or weight that's in our feet. Now, also, when we lose weight or we exercise, our feet also change. So when we lose weight throughout our body, our feet also will change, and we can lose weight in our feet also. So you may be a wide at one point, go through some exercising, and then all of a sudden either the width or the length may change. Sometimes our length actually may go longer. Also, when women are pregnant, those hormones that go through our body, also our feet are connected. So sometimes our feet will change as a result of those hormones going through our body. So when we change in our life, we may not always be the same as we were 5 years ago, 2 years ago. So getting regularly fitted for your shoes is highly recommended. Another thing here at Elias Shoes, and this is where you can't really find this online, guys. You need to come into a shoe store, because this style shoe, you might be a specific size. This style shoe, you might fit a little differently in this product than you would in this product. Even though they're amazing, they're great shoes, the 990, the 1080, really, really good, but you may be a completely different size in the two products. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. It just means what we call the toe box and the way the fit shoe, it's called a last. The way the last is completely different for these two in particular. Now, again, you might be a completely different size in the abeo. It doesn't mean that you are always, so if you always were a size 10, you may not always be a 10 in different shoes. And having the opportunity to come into a store, which is called a sit and fit, where you sit down and we actually fit you, is what is needed. So when you shop online, you don't get that opportunity to actually come in and spend time to go through and have an expert actually sit and fit your foot accordingly. Sometimes when people have really, really narrow heels and a wider forefoot, what ends up happening is they tend to go smaller so that their heel doesn't slide up and down on the back of the shoe. When you fit for your heel but not for your forefoot, then might have some pain and discomfort. Sometimes it'll lead to a bunion here on the side of the foot. Sometimes the toes will end up curling up, and that's also called a bunion. Sometimes as a result of the foot being squished, you might have some issues in between your feet. All of that can cause discomfort because you're fitting so that your heel doesn't go up and down versus fitting for the actual width of your foot. I see that a lot, not just with women, but men and children, because their heel is a little bit narrower. So then you look for different options. You look for something that maybe has a strap in the back, so that way you don't have to worry about your heel rubbing up and down, because we can accommodate for the narrowness of the back of the foot. But it's a little fuller here so that there's no pressure putting, able to put on the front of your foot. Or this actually comes a little wider, so that way your foot is nice and comfortable, a nice arch support. But if you have a narrower heel, your foot's not going to slide up and down because you don't feel that narrowness of the back of the foot. That's another option. And when you come in, there's a whole bunch of we're trained professionals, so we know how to accommodate for that. Also, here's another really good product. Again, as most people know, removable footbed. So if you do have a custom orthotic, we can accommodate for those custom orthotics. Another question that I have a lot of people, they come in and they ask, and they have a shoe like this, but it's not removable, and they've just gone to the podiatrist or orthopedic, and now they have a custom orthotic to help because they've got some discomfort going on in their feet. They want to put that new custom orthotic on top of this. Well, you can't do that because the actual back of the shoe is, if you put more in here, your heel's going to slip and you're going to get a blister. But what it's also going to cause is if you put it in here, the way this shoe is designed to fit appropriately is to remove this product. And not all shoes can you remove the inserts, but actually put your new orthotic inside of this without this. When you put it on top of, you're going to crunch your toes, so you may be solving one issue, but now your toes are all scrunched and your heel is going to go up and down. So now you're going to cause some new discomfort. Again, you can't find all this online. You need to come into a shoe store like Elias Shoes. There are a couple of sit and fits here and in California and around the United States. All of those know how to fit you appropriately. So you need to come in and remember that if you're going to fit for the heel, so your heel, because your heel is narrow and not fit for the width, you're going to have some issues down the road. And what you do now affects your feet, not only today, but down the road. So you need to keep that aware. So we have a nice little selection, not only of women's shoes here at Elias Shoes, but we do have a nice collection for the men. And we can accommodate for those that need the extra arch support inside their shoe. A lot of our shoes, like I said, have the arch built in. And those that watch, you need an arch and a heel cup so that your foot doesn't slide around. So here at Elias Shoes, we are located in Murrieta, California, and we're open 7 days a week. And come on in and we'll fit you for the changing of our feet. And this is episode number 14. Thank you again for joining us this evening, and we will look forward to seeing you for episode 15. Have a good evening.